Is President Trump about to attack the Iranian regime? There is a growing amount of evidence that the attack appears imminent. U.S. military forces, naval forces, anti-ballistic missile forces are in the region and seem to be set. And that's the big question. Is President Trump about to run out of patience with all this negotiation with the Iranian regime? Is he about to attack? Hi, this is Joel Rosenberg in Nashville. I'm at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. More than 3,000 Christian media executives, reporters, influencers, podcasters, and so forth. And we're here covering how Christians are viewing what's happening in Iran and throughout the region, certainly what's going on in Israel. I want to share with you an interview I just did with Dr. Johnnie Moore. Johnnie Moore was well, first of all, he's a strong evangelical Christian, one of the leading young evangelicals in the United States. He's been with me on multiple delegations to Arab Muslim countries, as well as, of course, in Israel. He's an expert on the Middle East, especially faith diplomacy. And I talked to him here at the NRB convention. What does he think is about to happen? What does he think President Trump is about to do? Because Johnnie Moore was the original chairman of President Trump's Faith Advisory Board, his evangelical group of advisors, even going back to the first administration, and has a lot of influence and relationship with President Trump now. So I don't know any evangelical that knows President Trump better than Johnnie Moore. What does Johnnie think Trump is thinking, and what does he think that Trump is about to do when it comes to Iran? Johnnie, thank you so much for meeting with All Israel News. I'm really grateful. I want to start with Iran. What do you think is about to happen? Do you think President Trump is going to move against Iran militarily? There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of questions. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think Trump is thinking? You know the president well.
I mean, it's really quite simple. The president has every option he needs, and the Ayatollah has no options. The president's clearly making a final offer. It's one offer. It's you eliminate the proxies, you stop the ballistic missile program, and you limit the radius of the ballistic missiles so they can basically only, operate within Iran. And there's no nuclear weapons program, and everything that's there has to leave. I mean, this is it. This is it. And I think by now, everyone should realize that when Donald Trump speaks, he means what he says. The question is whether the Ayatollah is a rational actor at all, and whether the political leaders in Iran have any power at all. And I think all of us that have been following Iran for a long time have a very hard to persuade us that the Iranian Ayatollah is a rational actor. He is a cult leader. He's not actually a head of state. He's a terrorist who is occupying a country with a personal militia. And the Iranian people have had enough, and the United States of America can literally do whatever it wants. The president's put enough in the region, he can do whatever he wants. So the Ayatollah has no options. The president has every option he has. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know what the outcome's going to be. The outcome's going to be there'll be no nuclear program in Iran, there'll be no ballistic missiles, and the proxies that are almost gone anyhow are going to be finished off. That's what happened. That is what's going to happen sooner or later. That's
a game changer. I mean, that is a total change to the Middle East as you and I have known it in our entire lifetimes, and almost everybody has known it in their lifetime.
It changes everything. And interestingly, it's like the president is simultaneously solving every multi-generational problem. There's still Cuba sitting out there. The trash is piling up in the streets of Cuba presently because they don't have enough fuel to put in the garbage trucks because all the fuel they were getting was from Venezuela. Like, the president it's almost like he took the list of Jimmy Carter's foreign policy and he's just like notching down every single one and simultaneously fortifying the United States against threats from the Communist Party of China. Like, it is an unbelievable thing that we're watching. It's almost unimaginable that we could be operating in the Middle East with no terrorist state in Iran. But not only is that possible now, it's going to happen somehow. It can happen the hard way or the easy way.
What do you say to Israelis, to Americans, to others, our Arab allies, you and I have spent a lot of time with, who worry because they don't know President Trump well. They worry that, wow, he's off. He keeps trying to negotiate. Is it possible that President Trump is going to get duped in the same way that almost every American leader, certainly almost every Secretary of State has gotten duped over the last 47 years?
I can assure you of one thing. It is impossible to dupe Donald Trump. I mean, he used this phrase the last time we were in the circumstance of the Iranians tapping him along. I mean, I think there are a lot of people that think that they could sort of like trick and deceive President Trump. And I'm just, you can agree with him, disagree with him, like him, not like him, vote for him, not vote for him. But he has a radar for deception. I mean, he just does. It's built in the brain. And he knows what people are doing. And if these people want to play games, the problem is not only that they're playing games, is that the consequences increase because he's going to get more and more frustrated with it. I'm quite disappointed in some of our Arab allies, to be honest. I mean, many of these people are dear friends of all of ours, and dear friends of the United States of America. And the difference between what they say privately and what they say publicly is always baked into this equation. But I think I'm not sure the American people's views of our Arab allies are moving in the right direction presently because of it seems like some waffling, and I think that's something I think we all ought to be paying close attention to.
Just to translate that, make sure everybody's getting it. You and I have spent time with most of the Arab leaders in the region, moderates, and they are saying, we don't want to see the United States take military action. But we all know that they actually do. But they're signaling that they're concerned, they're fearful that if President Trump doesn't move, and they've said, you should move, or even if Trump does move, that they're going to get retaliated against. So there's a level of fear that doesn't, in the Arab moderate world, that doesn't seem to correspond with a trust that at least Netanyahu has and the Israeli leaders have, which is we're ready for anything, and whether the president goes or doesn't go, we're ready, and we support the president taking decisive action. Is that a fair translation?
One slight disagreement, which is they actually don't want the military action. They don't want it, but they want the outcome of it. They want the Islamic Republic of Iran to no longer be occupied by a terrorist that wants to take out not just the United States and Israel, but all of them. And where you're spot on is that they're fearful of that. They're fearful of creating a fire in the Middle East, and there are more wars in the Middle East, and they all have economic agendas. They don't want it to be blown up. But they have no reason not to trust Donald Trump. And that's where I have trouble here, and that's where I have disagreements with him. Donald Trump has given us every single reason to believe that he recognizes this problem. And if we can pop into Caracas in the middle of the night and snatch up Maduro from a military base, in his pajamas, from a military base guarded by Cubans, and now we're basically in charge of 60% of the world's oil because of it, I think our Arab allies can just take a deep breath that the United States is on the case.
I really appreciate Johnnie Moore taking some time to talk here with All Israel News at the NRB convention. This is a critical moment, and I encourage you to be praying without ceasing, praying for the peace of Jerusalem, praying for the wisdom and discernment. James 3:17, that President Trump would have wisdom from above, that Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and the others around President Trump will have wisdom from above to know what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Please be praying for Prime Minister Netanyahu and his team as we deal on the front lines in Israel with the potential blowback if a war erupts between the United States and Iran, and what role should and will Israel play in all that? And will another theater open? Has President Trump given Prime Minister Netanyahu the green light, the authorization, as it were, that if we are going to war to decimate the Iranian ballistic missile threat, nuclear threat, and political regime, maybe not to fully bring it down, but to damage it significantly and prevent Iran from being a threat to American interests, American security, and our American allies in the region, Israel and the Arab neighbors. But is President Trump also supportive of Israel going into Lebanon and finishing off Hezbollah once for all? There's a lot of questions we don't know, but it really is feeling like we are getting close to decision time and close to President Trump's action. I think he is going to attack Iran. I don't know when, but we need to keep praying without ceasing. From Nashville, from the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, this is Joel Rosenberg for All Israel News.